Hello, and welcome to the ProjectWise Administrator Advanced Accreditation course on the iModel Composition Server for PDF. In this lesson, you will be defining output file naming conventions for use in the iModel Composition Server. When defining output file naming conventions, this will allow users to apply plotting standards to selected files at plot time when using the iModel Composition Server, and provide convenience to administrators when administering and creating plotting standards. During this lesson, you will learn how to define file naming conventions. Output file naming is quite flexible and can accommodate many common file naming requirements by using a variable-based naming pattern. For each output file naming convention component you create, you will define a file naming pattern for every PDF or raster output that you produce. In this exercise, you will define a file naming convention. So to begin this particular exercise, you'll need to be logged into the ProjectWise Administrator. We will go ahead and navigate to the renditions component found in the data source near the top. We'll expand the renditions area and continue to drill down into the rendition profile components until we get to the third profile component, the output file naming convention. You will right-click on the output file naming convention and click New File Name. Now, before we begin the exercise, let's get familiar with the actual dialog itself. As you can see, we can give this particular component a name. We can give this particular component a description. But the more interesting fact is that you can come up with three unique pieces of information now by giving a rendition document naming pattern, by providing a rendition base file name pattern, and by providing a rendition description pattern. So the key differences here between these three: the name pattern is used in the actual ProjectWise Explorer display. The base file name pattern is what will be stored in the storage area, or think of that as the Windows file name. And then, of course, you can provide a description. Note that you can also remove the extension from the document name in ProjectWise Explorer as you produce PDFs. Our main focus will be to look at the symbol technology. And one of the things that I find that helps me the most is to actually look at the help guide that is provided so we can learn more about the symbols available to us, especially during the naming convention. To do so, you can quickly click the question mark in the upper right corner and just click anywhere in the dialog. So our interest in the help guide will take us into the ProjectWise Administrator area. So that's where we want to focus our attention and find the ProjectWise Administrator reference object, then renditions, and we can expand this area to find the various naming conventions. So here we see the output file naming convention section in the help and the actual dialog breakdown. So if we click Add Symbol, this will give us a detailed explanation what every symbol does in the file naming convention. So here I can use the document categories to learn and understand in detail what each symbol provides me as a user. I can read through the document category and learn between base file name and file name with extension, depending on your file format that you're going to be producing. We can go and learn about the folder category and what we can utilize in the naming convention from any folder attributes. You have the work area category, environment attributes available to you. But we're going to focus our attention on the print definition category more so today. And then, of course, there's the general category, which gives you certain things like the username or dates and times. Based on the type of printing that we will be doing during this exercise, our objective will be to make three unique naming conventions. In the model name, it provides you with the sheet model definition names found in, say, MicroStation or OpenRoads Designer or in AutoCAD. So depending on your files, we will learn how to use those specific variables. We'll close the help dialog. Notice that only one of the three patterns is required, and that is the one for the storage, or basically the Windows file name. The description pattern and the name pattern can mimic the file naming pattern that is provided for Windows, unless you assign something unique. So here, if we go to the rendition base file name pattern, which is required, and hit add symbol, I want you to start out with the base name as your first selection. So under document, highlight base name and click OK. In the output file naming convention, you are free to add additional characters. So I'll use a separator by adding a dash, and then return to the add symbol button and select the print definition category and choose the model name. This will actually cut sheet models or paper space out of a CAD file, whether it be an AutoCAD file or a MicroStation drawing. And it is recommended that based on your output naming convention, you name your output file naming component similarly, so users understand the type of output they will receive when selecting this particular component. So you will name your naming convention base name dash model name, and then we'll click OK. This concludes the lesson on defining output file naming conventions. Let's review what you've learned. How to define file naming conventions. The next video will provide techniques on how to define output destination folders. Thank you.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you want to see more such series, consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you, and see you next time.